Hello and welcome to yet another video on peaceful weekend investing. We'll have this video in three parts. First part, we look at overall weekly analysis for India market. Second part, we'll be talking about some of the lessons, and those lessons will be very, very helpful for you in terms of in this current context, how to stay away from the noise and focus on your investing method rather than just being in the FOMO or fear of missing out and start buying things at the top and can save you hundreds of thousands rupees or dollars, whatever currency you're investing, by what my journey will be, and I'll be sharing some of the examples in those areas and how I keep away from those noises. And third section is I'm going to talk about stocks which will be in my radar and why it will be in my radar for next week, in coming week. And again, clear disclaimer: no tips I give in this channel. It's only to make your journey more peaceful. Is what I share my videos here. So no recommendation of buy and sell. No actions should be taken based on my recommendation because I'll be sharing with you that I am wrong 50% of time. And and it's important is when you're wrong, how little you're wrong, and how if you are right, how big you're right. That is what the overall game context you should be playing. So let's get started, and we'll have a lot to learn. And let's see what I have to share with you. So before I proceed further, if you haven't, I know a lot of you are watching my videos without signing up, subscribing to my channel, and if you haven't done that, do that because I keep sharing a lot of videos. And hit the notification bell and give a thumbs up if you are enjoying the videos. So first thing first, so let's start with the context of the market. Okay, where we are. Um, Let me just move me around so that it's easier to I can share with you. So last time again, I'll keep sharing whatever I in the continuation of what we did last time. I'll be sharing that, right? After always you have to understand the market doesn't move one way, right? It doesn't go one way. It always goes in this cycle, right? Right now, Nifty is Nifty is just made a good. Let me delete that. Yeah. So what has happened is it has come with some positive candle last week, which is a weekly chart which I'm sharing with you, and so after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, is a yeah 5 weeks, it has just given a nice bottom out. So this is the area we have to market and see what Nifty does in coming days and weeks is what I would look at it, because after giving this solid breakout, it is, and you have to look at the context on the left hand side because you have to see what has happened before that. The Nifty has given one way rally, of 18% at the Nifty level, and it is obvious when it goes into waves that it is giving some rest. So that's at the larger index level. But if you go into small cap, then it has mind of its own and just going like crazy. So there is a complete divergence in what is happening in Nifty overall and the mid cap and small cap space, and this is what going on. And as you can see here, what is important is gone 40% in no time, and this is the biggest candle. And it what it tells me here is, a I have to look at the larger context because it is first of all breaking out after 2022, right? But let's look at on monthly chart so that we get a picture here. So last time we have to look at the examples here, what has happened, so this was the COVID. From COVID low, it went up like 200%, 240%, and then given a rest. As I said, it gives you rest for a couple of months, and then it started moving. Now we can define some targets. At this point, I would see and what the small cap space is doing, and especially a lot of stocks which have gone up like double or is 40-50% like anything, and that's euphoria in the market. We have to see, and I would want the small cap space to settle down a bit before fresh money can be invested into this space. And whatever stocks I have, I would not be adding any new money into it. I'll rather just focus on either averaging up to the stocks which I know it is coming in my buy zone, ignoring all the noise. And just if I need to take money off the table, I'll do that. That is what my action will be. But I will see what's happening in this space, the line which I've drawn around 12,047, and see whether it can hold that. Because after going for that many months, this is a monthly candle, there is always has an opportunity for you to, either go sideways or go downwards, which time will tell. But that's something which I'm anticipating. But given the history here, you can see what has happened here. But this was one of rally of COVID where you had just one pause, and after that it just was one way rally up for one, two, three, four, five, six, pause, one, two, three, four, and then pause, one, two, three, four, pause, and then it is gone into sideways. So we are one, two, three, four, five, and the candle is just started off for September. Let's see what will happen. That's my take on the small cap space, and the stock specific actions are there, and overall index looking nowhere, it's just not giving any signs of resting down, I would say. And mid cap scales is also the same. You can see this is just as we've drawn the last line, it is again going in. So for me, those two are kind of heated area. I will be very cautious in terms of putting any new money in small cap and mid cap shares. And if you're seeing any of the, my sincere advice to you guys will be, don't just jump into any stocks which have started giving breakouts of 10-20%. I'll give you those lessons as well, because that is where you get caught in those stocks and have those holdings um, for long term, because if there's some kind of correction comes in and can be very steep. So when anything goes up like this also comes like in the same fashion, so keep that in mind. So the sector which I'm not going to go through the review of all the sectors. I've just just in interest of your time, is CNX IT. Now, what did I tell you about IT last time? Is that this particular stock, this particular index is going into sideways thing, and I can see some bit of green shoot, and I want to see what's what the index will do. And this is on monthly chart. Let's look at the weekly chart. It is definitely showing some positive momentums, and some of the stocks in my portfolio have started doing really well, and I've taken some leading names as well in those particular sector, so that as and when break out, those are the stocks which you will see some action coming in for long term gains. So that's where I would say you should focus on, because IT is looking nice, and in my opinion, and if it breaks out from this box and stays there for a couple of weeks, that means there's some positive momentum will be built up. And my interest, because that's my area of strength, so I focus on those companies which are doing genuinely some interesting work in AI or supporting the AI revolution. That's where I am looking at to position myself in coming days and weeks and months, both in India market as well as in the US market. CNX Reality Index. Again, this is, as I've discussed this in my previous videos. If you can go back, you'll figure that out. The sectors to watch out for. This sector is looking very interesting overall, because undercurrent is very strong. I know there's a lot of new releases coming up, so I've been reading the data, understanding it, and all this rally, previous rally, uh, you can see 48%, and it just had almost like three, one, two, three. I always say nothing goes in one way, so it kind of had one, two, pause, one pause, and then kept on going up 4 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and then pause, and 3 weeks and pause, and then there was a big candle here, and there's a pause for 4 weeks. So is it start of the new rally because it's up, or it is just going to die down? Time will tell. But that's where I can see the price action happening. Stocks, so we have to be there where there's section, where there's a price action, where you seeing the momentum there. And if you look around, the news about real estate is that most of the existing inventory has been absorbed, and now the most of the companies, first of all, there are two things happening. One is the radar coming in. There's a consolidation of the big players coming in this sector, and beyond that is that these big sectors will going to take larger market share from the smaller players who have gone bust, right? And there are so many companies who gone bust in this whole process. But what is I can see here on the weekly chart is it is coming out with a nice consolidation from almost 2021. And that is, and if you go back on monthly chart to look at it to get a better picture, is if you see it will be coming out after 2009. So it's like I've covered this in DLF as one of my stocks which I've been tracking, and you can check that video after this, or I'll leave some link here so that you can watch that. So you have to look for the leading stocks in the sector after 10 years or 2009, and how many years it has been. More than 10 years is giving a breakout, so you have to give respect to that. So that's the sectors to watch out for the overall mic understanding. Let's move to the next part of it, lessons. Now, some of the things which I want to cover, and I've given some examples. Let's start with one of my failures here. And I don't put out all those stocks in the public, but I'm sharing it very openly. The stocks which have, entered and exited. Why did I made a wrong decision? Because I am also human. I can also get wrong most of the times in terms of and be caught up in FOMO. So I practice one thing called JOMO, joy of missing out. If you understand this, type in the comment box called JOMO, joy of missing out. That is where you're gonna get most of your peace in this whole process. And this is one example where I didn't practice my own JOMO and jump in thinking this will go over the moon. And that was the wrong decision from my side. So I will go into a daily chart. That's where I entered it because I was following the process of my own understanding of consolidation, and because stocks move into either stock has gone into downturn and then moves into up trajectory, or stock can go up and go in consolidation and then move up, or stock can go up sideways for a few weeks, months, and days, or moves up. Right. In this case, I was following that pattern of third pattern which I mentioned, and but what I failed to ignore, or I probably ignored it, is this long wicks. So this consolidation quality was great, but both the times in both the consolidation, I kind of, when I entered the position somewhere here, let me just mark it. So if I took the position somewhere here thinking that it'll start the upward rally, but then it fell down. But after I was seeing that things are not going out, I completely exited with small loss because I don't want to make a start in a position where I'm straight away in losing side, because the psychology of you working on that will be different working, whereas where you invested something and stock moves in your direction, and you know that I'm only long only, cash only investor, so I don't want to be in a positions which are not going to give me straight away returns. So this is one reason I exited, and the stock, I exited somewhere here with minimal loss, and then stock went up after that. I said, okay, no worries. I know that why did I go up? So I didn't got into FOMO to get into it because it started moving in my direction even straight away after me exiting on it. But that's fine. And then what happened after that? It went down by 4% or almost 5%. Now, again, it can go up as well. I am not saying that I don't know anything what will happen in future. All I'm interested in my process. For me, I ignored this particular week, which was telling there were some rejections happening at the top, and over here also there was some rejection, but it managed to sail through after this. As you can see here, after it went through, it had some good rally, and then it is going up. So for me, I will ignore this stock, whatever it does, it dancing in between these lines, and only focus on it when it comes to setup. And most importantly, also you have to look at it, what is stock doing and why did I got interested. Stock was coming up with a nice base formation after the consolidation, so it is a strong stock in my opinion, and there's a lot of volume bars below which telling me there is some some strong buying happening, but I want to see some follow through buying after this level. So I've put in my watch list, but something I don't want to buy somewhere here and the stock goes into this level where I'm already in the losing position, so I've exited that. So that's a polymedicure about a stock which I kind of took position, exited with small loss. But I'm just sharing with you so you get some learning here. Other thing is bail. Now bail, and I always say one thing. This is the second learning, is that you always look for stocks which you hold had invested earlier or was holding it and you exited for some reasons. This stock was in my positions which I started building up, but then I exited it um, for various reasons, and then I was tracking this on daily basis, seeing what's happening, right? And then stock has given almost like 30% return in 1 week. Am I concerned in terms of I should be in there because I identified way earlier? No, because these kind of moves keeps coming up. So because there was some other opportunity which I would have invested, the BSE, which I've shared the video, has given almost 40% return in 1 month. So these kind of pop-ups keeps happening around it. You just have to be focused in your process and don't chase the momentum. Always chase when you think is the right time. You want to get into the stock rather than being, you know, getting into super fast train. You bound to get, having hurt on that process. And this is what one of the examples where I exited and the stock, went into sideways and then gave a big rally. And so you have to look for the stocks which you already been part of it and see whether there's any setups which are happening, and rather than keep finding new ideas. That is what I want to drive the message from this example. Colte Patel, again, this is a stock um, which you have to look at it. The reason why I selected it, A, because it's coming from the real estate sector and we covered that. And I will go into monthly part because this is where I have, or daily summary, yeah. So I've shared this in TradingView. If you have not following me on TradingView, do follow me here because I keep sharing a lot of commentary during market hours as well. And guys, if you are sticking on to this video till the end, that's great. And if you are watching, give yourself a thumbs up. And if you are getting, learning from this particular video, type I am learning or IAL, so that you know that you're, learning. I also know that you're learning and benefited from this video. So type IAL in the comment box below. So the cultipatal, okay, so this is where I want to show you I've shared my analysis some time back. Let me say share two of them. I didn't realize that. The one which is there on the daily chart, so I'll show this one. Yeah. So this is what it means when I say, and this was, you have to look at it. I posted this in Jan 9, 2022, right? So this is where I shared my analysis about this company by looking at what's going on. So I've been bullish from the real estate sector from then onwards. So I've been tracking all the companies. So what is important here is I shared the demand zones. So you have to look at what is going on here. So there's a demand zone, and I said what should be your stop losses as well. So stop loss should be monthly closes basis, and there's a clear resistance. And this was my long-term trade plan. And stock has, and if I do this arrow here, it gives you what exactly happened. Okay, so look at this. The stock exactly went to the demand zone. There was a strong buying came in, and if you can see that, look at my mouse here so that you can understand. And then it came back to demand zone again, and then it again given big bounce back. So that's kind of Chinese ball action which has happened. Now it's in the first target area which is there. So if you look at it from the time which we discuss about it, the stock has from 244 has gone almost like 452, but it has never, and I wouldn't call it, it is stop loss on monthly closing basis, right? And this was this never gave a stop loss from there because you are, if you look at it, this went down, right? And it did give first month, it didn't, next month it did give a stop out, and after that there was strong buying came in, right? And that is where you have to understand sometimes the price action, you just don't have to look at it textbook space. You have to look at it more what's happening. If there was, because market is where you will get shaken out quickly. And if there's strong buying comes in, you have to review your trade. And so remember the lesson, review your existing trade and move to that. And that is what it is. You have to look at it. So this is a monthly chart which I'm sharing with you. And so a strong buying came in, and then it again tested the demand zone and went up. So this is how you analyze yourself, analyze your trades, look at more peacefully so that you'll be at peace in terms of your process rather than just jumping. So even though it is stopped out, you should look at it and get back in if you have exited following your process, because process is sacrosanct. So you don't want to do that. Okay. So that's all I have to give you some learnings here. Now let's move to the third part of the video. I'm sorry if it's going lengthier because It is about the money, it's about investing, it's about you gaining out of this. So I don't want to rush to it. And if you think I'm going slow, please watch it in 1.5x speed, so because it's much easier for you to get more value from this particular video. Okay, so the last part is stocks to watch out for, PNB. Now, PNB is, and again, it's clear disclaimers. I might have positions in stocks, and whatever I'm sharing with you is only for learning purposes. So kindly take that note from that perspective, and I can be completely wrong. So please have that clear disclaimer. Please consult your advisor before taking any decisions to buy and sell. And I always say that monthly high pattern has started in this particular stock, started. Okay, and tasting position initiated. Tasting position is something which I start my first position and see what's happening. Again, I say, because for me it is important to be in the right side of the market rather than just be questioning, or being part of my ego. Hey, I bought it, it should be moving up. That doesn't work like that. Just surrender to market, follow your process, and just do that, and you'll be fine. So this is a monthly chart, and you can see here it was nice basing formation, and now PNB is kind of, there's some good accumulation happening in this monthly chart when I'm doing this. So sorry, I'll just move it. Apologies for that. Let me repeat again. So you can see here there's a nice basing formation happening, and this, if I'm correct, the the stock has this is for this month. So I'm hoping, this month it's kind of gone high, which is was the month which was in July, and then it is on the sideways, and September month has started nicely. August month didn't do anything, and for me, the key levels here is, if you look at it, that stock if start moving downwards and close below this main breakout, which again I'm saying, no textbook thing. It can go down to this level and stay there for a couple of weeks and start moving up. If there was a tennis ball kind of action happens, then you don't consider that as stop loss, but I would first exit and keep tracking it. That's how I do it, and I would like to hear how you go and approach that. But for me, this is a strong start for the week, for the month, and then I want to see whether it goes in my direction. And again, you have to look at it. This is coming from PNB sector, which is, or the PSB sector, public sector bank. So um, stocks can be very volatile, and you can see that happening in the past. The red candles on the monthly, the stocks can tank like 40% in a month or so. You have to take into that context. But when it moves very fast. So it works both ways, and it's also a liquid stock, so it's easy to get in, get out as well. Some of the key levels I've marked in black for upward and downward, which I will review that. So that's PNB. Bajaj Hindustan. Again, these are small cap stocks, so it can be very volatile. I don't want you to just jump in and buy it. I don't have any position in Bajaj Hindustan, but I'm tracking this stock. Um, if you look at it, there is some strong buying happening and base formation happening. Some resistance areas there. It has not broken that resistance area. I want to see that. There's another resistance which is at 33, which is lying it, and I would want to see the stock in this zone, and you can see what has happened in the past, right? So this is if there's a strong close happening, there's a long way to go up on this particular stock. Again, I don't know the fundamentals of this stock at all, but I know there's some agriculture commodity stocks are coming in my radar, and this was one of the stocks which I want to share. It's a penny stock, so please, please, please don't buy in. I'm not invested. I'm just sharing my analysis here. So keep that in mind. It's coming, and it's gonna be breaking out of 2014. If it breaks above 32.6, so that is significant breakout which gonna happen. Study that and tell me what was your learning from this particular stock, or you, if you know anything about Bajaj Star, fundamentally what's happening, put in comment box below so that I get more value out of it as well from your learnings as well. That's great. Other one is GMDC. Again, this is coming from the steel sector. I and one sector which is I've covered also is the, I should have mentioned, that is the steel sector, right? And steel sector is, if you look at some of the stocks which I covered, and I covered this separately, like sale and all those, all stocks are started moving up. So keep that in mind. So GMDC and HED. Okay, again, I'm not gonna buy at this level, but again, why it is there? Because it's, I told you there are three ways the stock moves up, right? Once it moves up, it goes in sideways, and then starts to rally upwards. And this possibly could be one of the stocks I'm keeping in my radar. And HEG is another one which is moved up strongly, and then it is on the sideways. It is kind of proxy to steel sector. The steel sector, I've covered the video in detail what sectors I'm kind of bullish at, and I'm still sticking my neck out on that, and I can go wrong. So this is what I wanted to cover in this video. Sorry it's gone a bit longer, but if you stay till the end, give a thumbs up, and I want your comments below without fail before you move on to the next video watching, which I'm going to share with you. Till the next video, I wish you a very peaceful week in investing and have a enjoyable week ahead. Bye bye.